My mom gave my college fund to my brother because he needed it more. Now she wants me to help pay her rent. I, 27M, grew up in what I'd call a guilt-based household. My mom was a single mother for most of my life after my dad left when I was 6. My older brother, Ryan, now 31, was always the golden child, charming, funny, and endlessly irresponsible. I was the quiet one. The one who did his homework, never got in trouble, and tried to make everyone proud. I never expected praise, but I did expect fairness. That was my biggest mistake. When I was around 10, my grandparents opened a college fund for me. They'd done the same for Ryan years earlier, but apparently, he'd blown through his money on emergencies that were actually just a string of bad choices: car repairs, partying, rent after he got fired, etc. My grandparents told my mom that the new account, my account, was to be used only for my education. It was meant to give me a shot at something better. My mom agreed to manage it since I was a kid, and I trusted her completely. She was my mom, why would I question her? The summer everything changed. When I was 18, I got accepted into my dream college, a state university a few hours away. I was over the moon. My guidance counselor told me my tuition for the first year would be around $14,000, and I knew there was more than that in my fund. I remember sitting at the kitchen table with my acceptance letter, showing my mom the paperwork. She smiled, hugged me, and said, "I'm so proud of you, sweetheart." Then she went quiet. She told me she'd been meaning to talk to me about something. I'll never forget her next words. "Honey, about your college fund, things have been really tough lately, and your brother needed some help. He had the baby coming and no savings. I lent him most of the money. But don't worry, he promised he'll pay it back soon." My stomach dropped. I asked, "How much is left?" She looked down. "Not much." Turned out, not much meant nothing. The entire fund, around $28,000, was gone. I remember sitting there in silence, numb. She started crying, saying she didn't want me to be angry because family helps family. She told me that Ryan was struggling, that his girlfriend was pregnant, and that I'd understand when I was older. I didn't yell. I didn't even cry. I just went to my room, closed the door, and stared at my acceptance letter until it blurred. College without the fund. That fall, I didn't tell anyone what happened. I took out student loans, applied for scholarships, and worked 2 part-time jobs, one at a grocery store, another in the campus library. I lived on instant noodles and barely slept. Meanwhile, Ryan dropped out of community college after 1 semester and got a job at a local auto shop. He and his girlfriend broke up within a year. She moved away with the baby, and he stopped sending child support after 6 months. Every time my mom talked about him, she made excuses. He's had such a hard life. He just needs time to figure things out. He's trying, honey. Don't judge him. Meanwhile, I was drowning in debt, skipping meals to make rent, and studying until 3 a.m. just to stay afloat. Graduation in silence. 4 years later, I graduated, with honors. My mom didn't come to the ceremony because Ryan needed help moving. My grandparents, bless them, were there. They looked proud but tired. I think they knew something was off. My grandma squeezed my hand and said softly, "You did it, sweetheart. I just wish your mother hadn't interfered." That was the closest anyone ever came to acknowledging what she'd done. After college, I got a decent job in IT. I worked my way up, rented my own place, and slowly started paying off my loans. I built a life, a quiet, stable one, and learned to stop expecting anything from my family. The phone call. Last month, my mom called me out of nowhere. Her voice was shaky, emotional. The kind she used whenever she wanted something. "Sweetie, I hate to ask, but I'm in trouble. My landlord's threatening eviction. I'm behind on rent. I asked if she was okay, if she had anywhere to go. Then she said, I know you're doing well now, and I just thought, maybe you could help me out. You owe me that much after everything I've done for you. That line, you owe me, made my blood boil. I reminded her what she did with my college fund. She immediately went defensive. That was years ago. Your brother needed it. You're successful now, aren't you? It all worked out. She made it sound like she'd done me a favor, like her betrayal had somehow motivated me. I told her flat out that I wasn't giving her a cent. She started crying, saying I was ungrateful, that I'd let my success turn me cold. Then she said something that really got to me. You wouldn't even be where you are if it wasn't for me. I sacrificed everything for you kids. I hung up. The fallout. A few days later, Ryan called. He said Mom was upset and asked why I couldn't just help her out this one time. I asked if he was helping. He said he couldn't, money's tight. I told him, funny how it's never tight when Mom needs it from me. He got quiet, then hung up. Later that night, I got a long text from my mom about how disappointed she was in the person I'd become. She said she raised me better and that family should always come first. I didn't reply. The guilt. I'd love to say I felt nothing, but that's not true. I did feel guilty, because despite everything, she's still my mom. But then I remembered being 18, sitting at that table, hearing that my future had been sold for someone else's mistakes. I remembered the nights I cried in my dorm room, wondering how I'd make it through another semester while my mom gushed about how proud she was of Ryan for trying. No. I don't owe her rent money. I don't owe her anything. Sometimes I wonder if she truly believes what she says, that I'm heartless for not helping her, that everything worked out. Or maybe she just can't face what she did. Either way, I've decided I'm done being the family's safety net. I built my life from the ashes of their choices, and I won't let guilt pull me back in. If she gets evicted, I'll feel bad. But not as bad as I did the day she stole my future. It had been about 3 weeks since I hung up on my mom. I thought the silence meant things had finally settled, that maybe she realized she'd crossed a line and decided to leave me alone. I was wrong. It was a Saturday morning. I was in my apartment, halfway through making coffee, when someone started knocking. Not just knocking, pounding. The kind of knock that makes your stomach drop before your mind catches up. I opened the door and froze. It was my mom. And standing behind her, looking awkward and annoyed, was my brother, Ryan. We need to talk. My mom looked rough, red eyes, messy hair, wearing the same coat she'd had for years. I could tell she'd been crying. Ryan, on the other hand, looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Honey, she said softly, I didn't know where else to go. I didn't answer. I just stared at her. Ryan sighed. Come on, man, let's just go inside. She's been sleeping in her car. I stepped aside. They walked in like they owned the place. The guilt trip begins. We sat in my living room. My mom clutched a crumpled tissue, her voice trembling just enough to sound rehearsed. I'm sorry for everything that happened, she started. I know you're angry about the college fund, but I was trying to do what was best for the family. I didn't say a word. Your brother was struggling. He had a child. He didn't have anyone else. You're strong, you always have been. There it was again, the same twisted logic that justified everything. I asked her, do you even realize how much that money meant to me? I spent years paying off loans because of you. Her face tightened. You act like I did it to hurt you. You did it because you thought my future mattered less than his mistakes. Ryan groaned, rubbing his temples. Man, we came here to talk, not to fight. I turned to him. You don't get to talk about fighting when you took what wasn't yours. He shot back, it wasn't like that. Mom said it was okay. I thought she'd talk to you. You thought I'd just be fine losing everything because you needed it more. He didn't answer. He just looked down at his shoes. The request. Finally, my mom said what she'd come to say. We just need a little help. Just a few $100s to get back on our feet. You have a good job, your own place, savings. You had all those things once too, I said. And you threw them away, including my future. Her tears came faster now. Please, honey, I'm your mother. You can't let me end up on the street. I felt a flash of something, anger, pity, guilt, all tangled together. I took a deep breath. Mom, I spent years cleaning up after your choices. I can't keep doing it. So that's it, she said, her voice rising. You're going to let your mother suffer after everything I sacrificed for you? Sacrificed? I laughed bitterly. You didn't sacrifice. You stole. Ryan snaps. Ryan stood up suddenly. Enough, man. You think you're better than us now? You think because you got a fancy job and a degree you can look down on everyone? I stood too. No. I think I worked my ass off for everything I have while you got handouts and excuses. You don't know what it's like to be me. I know exactly what it's like to be you, Ryan. I lived in your shadow my entire life. He started pacing, muttering something about how family's supposed to help each other. Then he turned to Mom and said, "Let's go. He's not gonna help us." But Mom didn't move. The breaking point. She looked around my apartment. The bookshelves, the framed diploma on the wall, the quiet stability she never had. Then she whispered. All of this, it should have been Ryan's. Those words hit me like a punch. Excuse me. You wouldn't have any of this if I hadn't helped your brother when he needed it. Maybe God rewarded you for being kind. That was it. Something inside me just broke. You're unbelievable. You didn't help anyone, you crippled me. You took away my future, my security, and for what? For someone who never learned to stand on his own. Ryan stepped forward, glaring. Watch your mouth. Or what? You'll take something else that's mine. He clenched his fists, but my mom grabbed his arm. She finally started sobbing, not the manipulative kind, but real, guttural sobs. I didn't mean for things to turn out this way, she said through tears. I just wanted my children to have each other. Then you should have treated us equally, I said quietly. The eviction notice. A week later, I got a call from my aunt. She told me my mom had officially been evicted. Ryan moved in with a friend. My aunt asked if I could help your poor mother out for a few months. I said no. Politely, but firmly. I haven't heard from my mom since. No calls, no texts. The silence this time feels heavier, like a final chapter closing. But then something strange happened. I got a letter. Handwritten. From my grandmother. The letter. She said she'd heard about everything and wanted me to know the truth. Apparently, when my mom borrowed the college fund money, my grandparents begged her not to. They even offered to help Ryan themselves. But she insisted it was her right as the mother to decide how to use it. After that, my grandparents quietly cut her off financially. The last line of the letter broke me. We always wanted you to have a fair chance, sweetheart. Your mother made choices we couldn't control. Please don't let her destroy what you've built. I cried after reading that. Not because I missed my mom, but because I finally understood how deep her betrayal went. The unexpected visit. 2 weeks later, as if fate couldn't let me rest, I came home to find Ryan sitting on the steps outside my apartment building. He looked awful, tired, scruffy, desperate. Hey, he said quietly when I approached. I didn't say anything. Mom's staying at a shelter. She's not doing great. I just thought you should know. And what do you want me to do about it? He hesitated. Maybe go see her. She talks about you all the time. Says she messed up. She did. He nodded. Then he said something I didn't expect. You were right, you know. About everything. I screwed up. She screwed up. I thought she was doing the right thing back then, but she wasn't. He looked genuinely sorry. For once in his life. You don't have to forgive us, he said. I just wanted you to know we're not blaming you anymore. He walked away before I could answer. The quiet aftermath. I sat on my couch that night, thinking about everything, the fun, the years of silence, the fights, the guilt. For the first time, I didn't feel angry. I just felt free. My mom might never apologize properly. Ryan might never change completely. But I've accepted that I don't need their validation anymore. I used to think helping them would heal the past. Now I realize it would only reopen old wounds. The message. A few days later, I got a voicemail. It was my mom. Her voice was hoarse, but calm. I just wanted to say I'm sorry, she said. Not for what happened, I can't undo that. But for not seeing you for who you are. You were always the strong one. I just didn't know how to be proud of you without feeling guilty for him. Then she added softly. You don't owe me anything, sweetheart. I hope one day you'll forgive me. I sat there for a long time, listening to it over and over. I still haven't called her back. I don't know if I ever will. But for the first time, her words didn't sound manipulative. They sounded human. Broken. Epilogue, for now. Sometimes I still think about that college fund, how different my life might have been if she'd just left it alone. But maybe I wouldn't have learned resilience, or independence, or the courage to say no. She took my money. But she didn't take my future. And that's something I'll never let her forget. She called me from the hospital. It had been 6 months since I last heard from my mom. Life had finally quieted down, work was steady, I'd started therapy, and for the first time, I felt at peace. Then one night, I got a call from an unknown number. It was Ryan. His voice cracked when he said, Mom's in the hospital. Heart failure. They don't know if she'll make it. I froze. For a few seconds, all the old memories came rushing back, the betrayal, the arguments, the guilt, the voicemail where she said she was sorry. I didn't know what to do. Ryan said quietly. She keeps asking for you. The next morning, I went. She looked small in that hospital bed, not the same woman who used to yell, manipulate, or guilt-trip me. Just a tired, broken person who'd finally run out of fight. When she saw me, she smiled weakly. You came. I nodded. Yeah. She reached out her hand, trembling. I know I can't fix what I did, she whispered. But I'm proud of you, sweetheart. You made it despite me. Tears blurred my vision. For the first time, I believed she meant it. She passed away 2 days later. At her small funeral, Ryan cried more than I'd ever seen. We talked afterward, not about the money or the past, just about her. About the good parts we could still remember. We'll probably never be close. But for once, there was no anger left between us, just quiet understanding. Sometimes I still hear her voice saying, you made it despite me. And maybe that's the truth. I didn't forgive her to make her feel better. I forgave her to let myself move on. Because in the end, closure isn't about justice. It's about peace. Final, moving on, not back. Months have passed since everything with my mom and Ryan. Life has settled into a quiet rhythm. I paid off the last of my student loans, finally bought my own small place, and even started saving for a future I didn't think I'd have. Ryan and I are civil. Not close, but we can be in the same room without yelling. That alone feels like progress. I don't hear from my mom anymore. At first, the silence was painful. But now it feels like permission to focus on my life, on my choices, on myself. I realized something important: I can forgive people, even those who hurt me deeply, without letting them control my life. I don't owe her money, attention, or loyalty just because she's my mother. What I owe myself is peace, boundaries, and respect, from myself first. Sometimes I think about the college fund, about the lost years, and yes, the anger still flickers. But it no longer rules me. I survived. I built a life she couldn't take away. And for the first time, I feel truly free.